Yo, we are doing a nice little live stream right now. Never done this, so I don't even know how it's going to be going. I think it's live on X. I have no clue. Okay, yeah. So, yep, live on X. All right, I have nothing really fucking planned. Let's see. Let's see what's going on in the news. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. Let's watch some of this. I hope the webcam's alright. Where the fuck is the remote? Oh, there it is. Alright.
Were reported to have extra digits. Finding mummies with extra digits in Thebes, the ancient capital of Egypt. Archaeologists discovered a tomb. Was it just one? You tell me. A tomb belonging to a royal or high-ranking individual. The Nephilim? I believe so. The tomb contained mummified remains with unusual characteristics, including extra fingers and extra toes. This is unbelievable. Is this what we are all being blocked off from? That the Nephilim were the leaders of the old world? Does the extra finger, the extra toe, does this expose that? And this is why the statues of all of them are all removed today. I believe that this is the case. Like I've said since the beginning, I don't believe that this is thousands of years ago. I believe that this was only a few hundred years ago. And it's getting clearer and clearer. Mummies from the Valley of the Kings in Egypt, which were discovered in our timeline yet again, just like it is every single time. The late 19th and early 20th centuries have been examined for unusual traits, like polydactyly, 6 fingers, 6 toes, with modern archaeological excavations reporting finding remains of individuals with extra digits in the tombs. I believe that we fully understand why these statues of the past are deliberately destroyed, chopping the heads, the hands, and the feet off of all of them perfectly with a saw all over the world, because we all know that this isn't just in Egypt. The mound builders of North America, specifically Ohio, Illinois, and the Mississippi River Valley. This research is incredible, and it all fits together over and over like a puzzle. I believe this is all to find the truth. It's all laid out there for us to find it. If you begin to put the pieces together and know exactly what you're looking for, it all begins to tell a story, an incredible story, the true history, while at the same time exposing the false narrative. In episode 45, we went on top of the Cahokia Mounds. This was like 66 weeks after episode 111. 66 weeks later, we found the next puzzle piece to this location in southern Illinois, USA. The archaeologists have uncovered hundreds of human burials, with hundreds more burials being discovered across the other mounds, and the exact numbers vary due to not completing the excavation. They stopped excavating the site. We know this from episode 111, where this location. Not only were these people found underneath this supposed dirt pile that we all know is a temple covered by grass, but we find something incredible about these people that are still here at this site today. And I believe that we've found the reason that they stopped digging, all to preserve their narrative. The Cahokia Mounds, one of the largest sites in the Americas that we've found so far, has yielded numerous burial mounds and remains, with some reports, though not extensively documented, of course. These reports documented that there are skeletons buried at the Cahokia Mounds with extra digits, telling all of us that this Mississippian culture viewed these individuals with extra digits, extra fingers and extra toes, as possessing special significance or power. We have just exposed that the Nephilim were in Illinois, USA. and it's looking like they're still possibly buried there today. 2 feet underneath the dirt, like we have shown. The mounds at Cahokia were used for ceremonial and burial purposes. We've also shown they were for sacrificial purposes, showing that we obviously don't know what the Nephilim were up to. Possibly not great things. With some of the skeletons found associated with elite figures, just like we saw in Egypt, indicating that polydactyly was seen as a sign of strength or divinity. You're not seeing these individuals buried with a chisel next to them. These individuals with 6 fingers and 6 toes, they weren't found with a rake next to them. They weren't off making pottery. These were the leaders. They were in charge. And I believe that we've fully exposed this. And it all started with having open eyes, seeing that they would chop the hands off of the statues, understanding that the statues that we all see today are actually depictions of the past and not just myth. And then that evolved into seeing that their hands and feet were also removed perfectly over and over. And now we're finding evidence that they have found the leaders of the past, the leaders of the old world. 6 fingers, 6 toes, and they were giants, and they are being hidden from us today, telling us that they are preserving the site when they are just preserving their narrative. Just like we saw in 1967. They found these individuals buried, mass graves, and then they stopped in 1971. It's very clear at this point that the land that we all live on is filled with such a different story than what we've all been told. A controlled narrative, a molded one, to fit into this ridiculous timeline that we've all been given. Understanding that a giant race was here, and they had 6 fingers and 6 toes. A race that is documented. These individuals have been found, and we know their locations. And trust me, we are just getting started.
Here, maybe I'll try to do the shared screen thing, but okay, I guess we're gonna be doing some. I guess we're gonna watch some Nephilim giant theories from my lunch break. We'll be doing some other shit. I'm gonna watch some of Izzy's new content. Go through X a little bit probably. But we will see. Let me see what's good with this. Let's see if the screen sharing works better. All right, so we go here.
Getting started.
It's preventable if we make the action to happen now.
There's so many more. The Nephilim explains so much about the old world, and it opens up a brand new door. It possibly explains how things were actually constructed. A much more logical explanation for the pyramids of Giza is that there were actually bigger people here. It would just make a lot more sense that bigger people with more fingers and more toes, with more knowledge of this place that we live, built this. This shows that constructing the Milan Cathedral, the Cologne Cathedral, with a donkey and a chisel, with no lights on, dirt roads, and no toilet paper until the 1800s, doesn't make logical sense. This story is done. The history that we've all been told is in the past. It is now a myth, especially when we go to Ohio. The Adena Mound, located in Adams County, USA, where they excavated the burial site, and it revealed the remains of individuals with extra digits. Elite status yet again, where the Cherokee called them the Moon People. The Utes and the Paiutes spoke of a hideous race of cannibals, 10 feet tall, living in caves. Are these caves, or are these tunnels? And the Choctaw also have an account of the race of giants that first colonized the Ohio Valley. This is all in the USA. Cushman then recounts the discovery in 1880 at a burial mound near Plano, Texas, of human bones of enormous size. The jawbones so large as to slip over the face of a man with ease. with many historians speculating that
shit.
they were the builders of the Adena Mounds, the place that they found the six-finger, six-toe individuals. Multiple sources, all connecting back to this location. The Cherokee, calling them the Moon People. I've had so many requests asking me to go into the Cherokee and do some research. Well, here we go. According to the Cherokee stories, the Moon People are described as large, powerful beings who were considered giants with extraordinary abilities. These Moon People, which I believe are the Nephilim, were said to ascend towards the moon, where they continued to watch over the earth. The Watchers. We are connecting massive dots today. Yes, the Watchers. These are the parents of the Nephilim in the Bible. In the Bible, the Watchers were angels that were sent to earth to watch over the humans. Then they fell in love with the women and had children with them. The children were the Nephilim, the offspring. And these Nephilim were described as savage giants that endangered humanity. The Moon People, in Cherokee stories, then ascended towards the moon to continue watching over the earth, often seen as ancient guardians of the world, giants, suggesting that the giants were so powerful that they could no longer remain on earth and were sent back to the moon. And then we find them here, buried. And in my opinion, this is proof of their existence. Finding the six fingers, the six toes, jaws that could go over a human head, and then not giving us any photographs of them, and just relying on written reports and sketches. We all know that we were given the camera back in the 1800s. So when they found them in the 1970s at the Cahokia Mounds in southern Illinois, this would not have been an issue to take a picture of it, telling us that photographic techniques were not as advanced or commonly used in archaeological practice. This is a bunch of nonsense, an excuse to keep these findings hidden and out of the mainstream narrative. This is exactly why they stopped excavating the site in 1971. This is unbelievable. Local legends describe these individuals as giants or people of great power. In several mounds, the archaeologists uncovered skeletons with six fingers on each hand and six.
Pops Mild.
The Dream Team. Zootopia 2 is a wildly smart and outstanding sequel that's well worth the wait.
Flash, we'll need to get across town.
No.
On each foot. The individuals appeared to be of large size. Again, we see the depictions all over the world. They don't design the entire thing perfectly and then accidentally put an extra finger on both hands. That's not what happened. This was done on purpose. So when someone has polydactyly, this can mean that they have six fingers on one hand and the other hand has five fingers and both feet have five toes. It could also mean that both hands have six fingers and both feet have six toes. So to be more specific and attack this even further, we have to understand that we only want to research the instances where it's six fingers and six toes on both hands and both feet. This is polydactyly, but it is more specifically called hexadactyly. And hexadactyly means they have six fingers and six toes on both hands and both feet. And what I find extremely interesting is that people are still born with this today. It's extremely rare, with 1 in 1 million births, or only 140 people a year worldwide. They are born with this. So when we see it all over the world, the powerful giant old world figures in every continent, and they are being discovered as the leaders. This is not a common trait today at all. And there were less people back then, we are told. Yet there are so many instances where people have six fingers and six toes, and they are the leaders, and they are also giants, showing that this group, in my opinion, this is the Nephilim, they are gone.
I was running through the 6 with my toes. You know how that should go. You know how that should go.
And there were so many more of them here in the past. The past being around 500 years ago, in my opinion. I personally believe that this group did leave, with some dying from the catastrophic event that took place. The event that melted buildings. The event that covered this place with mud. But I also believe that their DNA lives on. A very small amount. I believe these 140 people per year, they might just have traces of this dominant trait. And so many times we saw that the head, the arms, the hands and the feet were removed from the depictions of our true past, the old world statues. And we see they are so deliberately removed, a perfect cut over and over. We always speculated that it was hiding more. And I believe today that we have fully exposed what it was hiding all along. Hiding that the Nephilim were here and extremely involved in the way that things were done. The leaders in every continent, I believe that we have opened up a brand new door that explains so much more about where we are. And I will never look at a statue without a head, without its feet, and without its hands the same ever again. One thing we can't overlook is how these traits, 6 fingers, 6 toes, and towering size, weren't just physical. They symbolize something so much deeper. Power, or even a connection to forces beyond this world, as we were told with the Moon People, or the Watchers. Across so many cultures, these individuals weren't just leaders. They were gods, warriors, and builders. Their influence shaped everything, including the massive architecture that's still here today. What if the missing hands and feet on these statues weren't just about hiding the truth, but also about erasing a lineage, erasing who once ruled and what they were capable of? It's not just about what's missing. It's about what they don't want us to see. This isn't just history we're uncovering. It's a blueprint to understanding what they don't want us to know. The Nephilim were here, and that changes everything. The Valley of Peace, located in the holy city of Nayaf, Iraq. It is the largest cemetery in the world, covering 1,485.5 acres and contains more than 6 million bodies, where burials have just been going on, we're told, for over 1,400 years, and is also pinned as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This cemetery, in my opinion, is a cemetery from the old world. The previous civilization was buried right here, where today we see that 50,000 new bodies are buried right here annually, every year, with other sources stating that over 100,000 new graves are added each year. So either way, there's a lot of people. And I believe all of this is done to hide what was once there. Heck, just 300 years. I believe before 300 years ago, this was not happening. And these 50 to 100,000 brand new bodies being buried there annually, this is a new thing. With ancient artifacts and structures uncovered in the vicinity, all of this is linked to the pre-Islamic period. This is the old world, the previous civilization, a very powerful, advanced group of people. We are the finders. We're finding all of this technology, their texts, buried with the most important people of the past. There are also reports of ancient tombs and cemetery complexes. The cemetery contains sacred tombs and mausoleums or significant figures. These sites have restricted access to preserve the mainstream narrative, where only certain individuals or groups may be allowed to visit. Once again, episode 107, Off Limits to the Public, Part 1. Anytime there's something significant, something that would change the mainstream narrative, the story that we've all been told, they simply just say, no, the public is not allowed to see it. It's off limits, restricted to preserve whatever it is, where we know what preserving means. They're preserving their story. And that was just good enough for all of us for so long. telling us that they were preserving the items, preserving the site, or whatever else is inside, when we all know now that they are preserving, they are protecting the mainstream history. The history that we were all told, all over the world, in every single country. We see the same exact thing. Given the historical and archaeological significance, certain sections of the valley, especially those that contain ancient tombs, artifacts, or historical remains, are all off limits to the general public. All of us, you and me. This is all to protect the integrity of the site. No, all to protect and prevent damage to valuable artifacts and structures. No, no.
You had the whole day planned. A quick Sephora stop for a little treat, then lunch with your mother.
No, this is to protect what is there. If what they're supposedly protecting and preserving was all exposed, it would change the world in a second. And we all know it. Whatever is blocked off from the public is something significant, something that doesn't fit in with what we've been told. How can we all read the mainstream history book and fully trust it when so much is being blocked off?
Yeah, damn. I mean, pretty fucking crazy, I guess. What, Nephilim? What are the Nephilim anyway? I mean, I know it's in the Bible, these things that came from space or the sky or, you know, other planets or whatnot that mated with humans. What are they, angels and demons? Are they the Anunnaki? Are they like the creators of the humans in the movie, like Prometheus? That's what it sounds like. Literally sounds like the Prometheus theme is like the Anunnaki. If they are the creators, I don't know. I guess
from all of us. We don't get to go see all of the information. We don't get to go in there and verify all of the information. And at this point, everybody in the world has to understand that if we are not shown all of the information, all of the sites, all of the texts that have been found, all of the tablets, all of the artifacts, and no, not just the pottery, then we all have to continue to ask questions, the very minimum. Archaeological excavations or exploration areas where significant historical artifacts are being uncovered. This is the point that the camera needs to be installed for everybody to see so that their story can be fully transparent and trustworthy. But instead, this is the exact point that they go on to say are typically closed to the public, all to prevent interference and preserve the site.
Just like preserving like Göbekli Tepe and all these other ancient sites that seem to have like some significant meaning about what happened to civilizations before us, and kind of trying to pass a message on to what could be cyclical, maybe, you know, this event that likely caused the Younger Dryas. I was reading this thing from Open-Minded Approach on X, and he talks about how we all think it's linear when it comes to human progression and shit like that. I mean, he's of the opinion that it's actually cyclical, human progress. Like, cataclysms happen in a cyclical manner, and they reset civilizations all the time. And instead of it being linear, our progress becomes cyclical based on based on these cataclysms, and then based on who survives the cataclysms, essentially, which would be, I mean, if we had the cataclysms today that were, you know, akin to what happened during the Younger Dryas, it would be like the survivors would likely be all like the tech oligarchs and all the, you know, elite occultists who essentially are the ones building these huge doomsday bunkers in the side of mountains, underground, etc. You know, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, all the tech guys, all these elite groups. So let's see.
Observe whatever they found. Wouldn't they just want to put a camera in there to be fully transparent, to show us that what they're telling us is true? Why are they preserving all of these things and not showing the public over and over where we go on to see that certain ancient tombs, particularly those of historical or religious significance, may be restricted in order to protect the integrity of the graves. In some cases, preservation efforts may require limiting access to certain areas to prevent damage from weather, even though they tell us that it's been fine for centuries. Human interference or natural decay. No, no, and no. This is not working anymore, and we are just getting started when we see that a notable discovery was the uncovering of a massive necropolis at the site, dating back to pre-Islamic times. This is the old world. A necropolis is a cemetery, especially a large one, belonging to an ancient city, the old world, where we have an entire series on this called Under the Necropolis. So these new people that are being buried here are just being buried around this massive necropolis. They're being buried around the old world. And remember, this is a massive necropolis. We already know that a necropolis is a cemetery, especially a large one. So for them to add in there that this is a massive necropolis is very telling. Containing royal tombs and ancient inscriptions. This section of the cemetery, the massive necropolis, had been previously unknown or inaccessible and was, of course, found again in our timeline. Found in the 20th century, the 1900s, during excavations and modern archaeological surveys. Now that we know that there is a massive necropolis at this site that they just found, it's time to go deeper. Uncovering a massive necropolis containing royal tombs and ancient inscriptions. All of this found in the 1900s, the 20th century, over and over and over. Our timeline. We are correct. We know exactly what to look for. We are pinning this down and exposing the truth to the world. We are showing sites that have been just hiding in plain sight for so long. We're showing that the old world was massive, and they've just been buried right below our feet for all this time, preserved, or simply not found yet. Our timeline has just began in the scheme of things. There is still so much more to be found, including at Cahokia. Finding the Nephilim and leaving it alone after 1971, ignoring that they found six-fingered giants, just like we showed in our last few episodes, which is incredible. Massive giants found with 6 fingers and 6 toes from 1967 to 1971, and then never talked about again, and then called it a mound, or the largest pyramid in the world by volume, all hiding right under the grass and dirt, where they said that the grass and the dirt is preserving the site, where we know that's not true. And then we're also told in Iraq that these tombs have been long buried, preserved, under layers of earth, provide crucial insights into the religious history of the region. Is this not a site that we should all know about? We should all get to see the process of what they're finding or what has been found. Is this not the most interesting thing? Something that would show possibly who was here before us, possibly what we're all doing here, and who built all these structures. It would show what's happened, what our true history really is. Well, these parts of the valley had been sealed off due to the political and religious sensitivity of the site, with access being restricted until recent excavations. Restricted until recent excavations? What is going on? What is this? In the 2000s, after the fall of Saddam Hussein's regime, there was an increase in archaeological activity around the Wadi al-Salam, the biggest cemetery in the world. The Iraqi government, along with Shiite religious groups, began conducting excavations and restoration projects, where we know that restoration is destruction. To reveal more about the historical significance of the site, these excavations were aimed at uncovering the older tombs, the older artifacts from the massive necropolis. We are told that they did this, and then these efforts were often restricted due to the religious context of the site. This would have shredded the narrative, and we all know it. Whatever was found in the 2000s, in my opinion, would have taken their religious and historical narrative and everything that they believed and ripped it right in half. People used to ask, why would they hide this information? And who is they? Well, who is involved in these excavation projects? It clearly states who the they are, telling us that the Iraqi government, along with this religious group, this is the they. This is who they are for this excavation project. These are the people that conducted the excavation and restoration projects in the 2000s. Can you see very clearly now? Aiming to uncover the old world tombs, the old world artifacts, which we know that they did. And then all of these efforts were restricted to all of us due to the religious context of the site, restricted to all of us because of what they found, what it would have meant to their group. You are always free to think whatever you'd like. I am simply sharing what we have found, asking questions that I believe take us closer to the truth. This is all in my opinion, and I state this over and over. All of my episodes are and always will be in my opinion. But how much clearer could it get? We know exactly what to look for to unravel the narrative now. And it's only getting more and more obvious that we are correct the further that we go. We know the keys to the game. We understand what to ask, and we know where to look. We're just getting started, especially when we are told that they came back to the site in the 2010s. Again, uncovering older layers of the cemetery, the old world. Uncovering ancient tombs again and old world artifacts, telling us that the old world was again just over there making pottery. Can you believe how correct we are? We found the pottery clue months ago, and it'll never get old. They give us the pottery, and they have for so long. And they do this so that we stop asking, what else did they find? Going back to the top, where they said they found ancient tombs and artifacts. I don't believe that that was pottery. This is obvious now. They found old world technology. They did not just find some cups and plates. Finding old world texts, yet again, gold, jewelry, and of course.
All right. So that is that for right now. I'm going to stop sharing that. I got about 30 minutes in. Yeah, this shit's weird. I don't know if it's actually the Nephilim. I don't know what the fuck they're hiding. Can fucking tell you it's Iraq. I know that we went in there and fucked them up though, on some false premises. Not too long ago. I don't know what the meaning of the actual invasion of the Middle East was. I know it wasn't the official narrative story. I know that it had a lot to do with, well, I mean, heroin, poppy fields had a lot to do with, you know, regime changes. It had a lot to do with helping out our greatest ally, and maybe it had something to do with hiding old Nephilim information. Who knows? I was gonna watch. Hold on. Let's see. I wanted to watch some of the Izzy. He posted a couple new videos that I. Let's see. All right, so we got two more. He has the left's cringe fake Marxist movement, and then the right's fake fascist problem. So at the left's
website you love.
So
You are now watching Base F. Enjoy. The identity.
yeah, I wonder how good it'll look on the fucking screen. All right, let's see. That's the right.
identity of the liberal capitalist is beginning to crumble under the weight of modernity. And what I mean by a liberal capitalist is basically just Americans, right? We operate within a liberal capitalistic society, and we all engage in capitalistic endeavors even if we don't agree with the capitalist system. I know some of you are like, I'm a socialist, I'm an anarcho-communist, I'm a gleep glorp, I'm a little gleep glorp. Some of you are gleep glorps, okay? But you all operate within a capitalistic society, and therefore I am using the most broad term I can to not offend anybody. So there we go. But even my little gleep glorps are exhausted. Politically, we are at we're done, dude. We're burned out. We've had enough. And I think that the election of Zamboni Mbamba is proof of this. Many people, when asked if they were voting for Zamboni, said that they wanted to try something new, which this is America. If you want to try something new, you can try to elect a Zamboni. And that's what happened. Zamboni won. Zamboni is the mayor of New York City now, America's largest city. Is it going to work? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't really think it's going to. I don't think he's going to raise the money. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about. What we are going to be talking about is this political exhaustion, where it stems from and where it leads to. On the left, we have the romanticization of a potential revolution, the Bolsheviks, the French Revolution. On the right, we have the mythologization of the past. This mythologization leads to things like amorphous fascistic leaders of old who take on the shape of whoever is talking about them in whatever category they need that ex-fascistic leader to fit into. Some of you probably know what I'm talking about. And in World War II, what we really saw fascists versus communism. That's really like what World War II was, if you really boil it down. Strangely enough, the United States came in, and we are liberal capitalists, and we sided with the communists and ended up beating the fascists, and liberal capitalism ended up being the victor, which is strange enough. And interestingly enough, fascism arose as a third option out of what was going on in Europe at the time. Fascism was seen as a third position from communism and liberal capitalism. And now what we're seeing is an inversion of this. The United States is at the liberal capitalist position and is splintering off in each direction when it comes to Gen Z. You have the faux Marxist communists and the faux fascists. Now, these stem from a mass sort of disconnect from contemporary reality due to the harsh nature of life, and also due to the abstractification that the internet.
All right, so yeah, we have that. I don't know if we're gonna go through everything. Let's see. Let's go. Let's do that. But yeah, I mean, the left's cringe fake Marxist movement. Yeah, let's see. All right, let's fuck it, let's keep watching, I guess. Don't give me an ad, you faggot. God, fucking ads, dude. But I just watched fucking Hassan Piker go on trigonometry, and that was fucking that was fucking I don't know. Fascism and communism sound cool until people start fucking starving, and like
In each direction when it comes to Gen Z.
And I don't know, he's just trying to make this claim that we're in the US, it's moving towards a fascist and communist society, but we'll see. I don't know.
You have the faux Marxist communists and the faux fascists. Now, these stem from a mass sort of disconnect from contemporary reality due to the harsh nature of life, and also due to the abstractification that the internet allows for all of us to engage in. You can be in the real world while being in the orb. You don't have to be IRL. Gen Z holds the key. They really do. Gen Z is extremely important. And I think that this video is going to be something that maybe is looked at some point as sort of prophetic, because I have an uncanny ability to be correct, and I have an uncanny ability to understand things before they happen. So let's get into it, baby. So this is part one. This is romanticism and postmodern. Let's try it again. So this is part one. This is romanticism and postmodernity and the non-future of the contemporary left. The beginning of the faux Marxist era. Chapter 1. Defining the romantic faux Marxist.
So I just got the knock. If you are a person that lives in their van, or homeless, whatnot, you know what the knock means. But of course, there's two white men that have a fucking problem. Hi. Did you vote for Donald Trump? Did you vote for a racist fucking dictator? So what? I need you to party like a fucking sleep. What is your fucking problem? What is your fucking problem? I need you to party like a fucking sleep. I'm way back there. I'm not bothering anybody. What is your problem? Suspicious vehicle on property. And you know exactly what I'm doing. I'm fucking sleeping, like most homeless people have to do now because housing is affordable, and I'm clearly disabled, which you can see on my fucking plate. Laugh about it. Did you vote for Donald Trump? Did you vote for Donald Trump? Did you in it? There you go. I bet you support ICE too. God, you're gross. I hope no one fucks you.
In order to get a clear picture of what it is that I'm talking about, what I'm trying to define when it comes to the left side of this argument, is we have to characterize and understand what romanticism is. And romanticism is a literary and intellectual movement that began in Europe in the late 18th century, and it flourished until the 19th century, characterized by its emphasis on emotion, individualism, imagination, and a love of nature. Now, this is an artistic movement. But for the sake of this argument and this sort of video essay, we have to focus on the aspects in which I'm accentuating with this term. Romanticism in this context is the emotionalization of politics, and it is the replacement of a disciplined conviction with an aesthetic, individualistic self-expression. So it is essentially the romanticized aesthetic that is being placed on the political identity of an individual. The point of being a rebel is not to have a rebellion and to change society into a utopia for this individual. The contemporary romantic rebel is doing rebellion as a feeling to be experienced and displayed, and for attention to be given to the individual through their quote-unquote rebellious acts. Now remember, romanticism followed the Enlightenment, right? And the Enlightenment emphasized reason, science, universal truth, and progress. And the following of the Enlightenment for the Romantic is sort of what it's bashing against. And Romanticism seeks authenticity and moral intensity and a sense of sincerity over strategy, performance over pragmatism and praxis. Romanticism manifests as rebellion as an identity. The individual defines themselves through opposition, but not through a constructive, oppositional, strategic way of overcoming. It's just opposition for the sake of the aesthetic identification of opposition. It's sort of like the nose ring simplifying leftist ideologies. It's sort of like the colored pink, purple.
Yeah, the nose ring is symbolizing that you're a fucking retard and that you got MK Ultra, and you want to look like a fucking dipshit. I mean, imagine looking like that, and then imagine listening to your friends when they tell you you look good, or people online that are probably just bots telling you, "Oh yeah, you look good, babe. Keep doing it." It's like fucking people that tell girls, "Keep short hair. Long hair doesn't look good on you." Like, you're a fucking retard if you believe that. Come on. Don't be believing that shit. All right, let's continue. But yeah, sorry, but I was attending to my phone earlier. But yeah, I had a dumb fat drunk coworker not show up today, so I was attending to those matters. But yeah, I hate dealing with fucking retards that 90 years old, drunk and fucking idiots. So that's what I was attending to, but we're good now. So let's get back to this, I guess.
Hair with fucking giant eyeliner things going on as a signifier of what this person's political identity
I don't
is,
like that.
right? And this gets into various ideas I have on demons and other stuff, whatever. But right, but it is also a form of suffering as virtue. It is marginalized pain manifested as outrage to give a sort of proofing and an authenticity to these people.
Quiet since the day I've entered this earth, and I feel like if you're quiet when so many injustices are happening, not just here, but Palestine, Sudan, Congo, etc., then I literally blocked my brother yesterday. I'm not speaking to my mom, my stepmom, my dad. I'm collecting them like Pokemon. I'm like, who can I block next? And it stinks, but I just think that you have to stand for something. And I think as you get older or mature, and I feel like you guys are already far more mature than I was at your age, you have to stand for what matters to you. And when you see things happening, you have to say something, in my opinion. And I understand that there's like safety concerns, and I have a lot of privilege as a cis white woman saying those things, but I can't stay silent. I never will. I said yesterday, like, the right people will find you. The right opportunities will find you. The right friends will find you. The right jobs will find you. And it's not worth a check.
A disgusting fat. Oh, now you can see it. A disgusting fat piece of shit is talking, but.
Thank you for that.
Right? The more outraged they are on their TikToks and through their emotional activism, which we're going to get to in a moment, the more real and authentic they are. And if you're not mad about it, you're not real. You're not one of them, and they're going to block you. Right? And we see this happening all the time, right? People block their family members, their parents, whoever it is, just because they might have different political ideologies. And this is in order to prove themselves to themselves that they are what they say they are, because they know they're not what they say they are, because it is an aesthetic. It is a political aesthetic. It is not an ingrained belief. And what follows this?
It's essentially like identifying with being gay. Like people, I mean, real gay people that probably, actually like taking it up the butt and actually like the same sex. They never identify with it. They're just normal ass people trying to go on with their daily lives, work, do whatever, music festivals, you go out, do all the same shit everyone else is doing. And also, when it comes to sex, they just like fucking the same sex people, you know. The people that run around identifying and essentially having like some type of like name tag or label on their chest that says I'm a fucking faggot, or I'm I cut my genitals off, or did hormone therapy when I was 10, are just trying, or, I mean, not only do those people have mentally ill parents, but they identify with being that, and that's all that they can identify with because nothing else is going on. The same thing happens on the left, and I mean, I guess no, I mean on the right, I guess it might be happening more, but this is a characteristic trait of the left. They identify with it, they virtue signal, they don't even really believe in it. They'll tell you a boy can be a girl can be a boy, and they don't fucking believe that. And if they do, I mean, it's because they've said it so many times, they've started to actually believe it. They stared too long into the abyss. But they don't, I mean, they'll spew shit out of their fucking gullets. They're disgusting, you know, yeah, red 40 filled gullets that they don't believe. And that's just for social credit, that they've never had in their life, or it's for validation that they're they're real people because no one else gave it to them except for the bots that they communicate with online, and then the other fucking psychos that they hang out with in person. But so
Follows this is emotion as truth. It is a feeling that feeling something strongly becomes synonymous with being correct. The more passionate you are about the thing that you're talking about means you're right.
Yeah, he's talking about subjective truth. Subjective truth has literally ruined everything. It's ruined art. It's ruined discussion. It's ruined, uh, you know, I would say human progress. I mean, subjective truth is nice if people can be mature about it. Like, yeah, you might think this girl is sexy and actually beautiful more than other people do based on certain things that you're more attracted to compared to other people. Or you might think an artwork or a song or some, type of writing or book is really beautiful, uh, more beautiful than other people think it is, but usually it's still like objectively good art. You just might like that specific uh book or song or whatever movie more than other people. But overall it's still like objectively good. That's how subjective truth should be treated. Like you just like it more based on certain things about it, but it was already good. But subjective truth in the form of, what the radical leftist retards have turned it into, like calling Lizzo, calling her fat ass like beautiful, and taking beautiful Victoria's Secret models and replacing them with people on the verge of heart disease. That is subjective beauty and subjective truth that's ruining everything. This is no different than like modern art where people put like a fucking number two pencil and a number two pencil with broken lead at the tip into a fucking like showcased box and put it in a museum of modern art, and they call that art and they call it beautiful. No, that's fucking retarded. That's subjective truth that's ruining the world, where people believe that their feelings, because they feel very strongly or passionately about something, that it actually is higher up in the hierarchy of truth based on what they feel. And this is what they've been told to act like, react to. They've been told to, believe whatever you feel strongly about as actual truth and deny objective truth. And it's literally halted like everything. Our progress, it's created tension. It's created a lot of bullshit coming from the left usually.
And you can see this. I've seen so many debates with back and forths with people on the left and people on the right. And the more upset they are, the more valid they believe they are, which is not real. That's not. The more valid you are is the more
It's subjective.
correct your argumentation can be, right? And ultimately, this leads to activism as a form of content creation. And this is a curated, dramatized, over the top, fake broadcasting of one's political ideologies. And this is what we're going to take a look at first. But before we do, I have to sort of give the breakdown of what it is, right? Romanticism as a form of a political narcissism. That is what we have on the left. And don't worry, right? You guys are going to get it too. So this is not just for the lefties, right? But this is this idea that what was once a philosophical revolt against this sort of enlightenment, right? This sort of rationalism that was sort of lacking any emotion and it was super industrial has mutated into a digital performance of moral selfhood where the revolution does not happen in the world, it happens in the mirror and on the phone, it happens in the orb. That's where the political activism goes. In the orb. We're not trying to change the world. We're trying to change our motherfucking likes because we.
If you're a political activist in this day and age, like that is some faggy shit, to be honest. That is some faggot behavior if you're a political activist. Chill out, bro. You guys are fucking fighting for people that fuck kids and cover it up for each other.
A couple more reposts. We need some more likes, and frankly, I need a couple of I need those numbers to get up, bud. I need those numbers up.
Chapter 2: The Covert Narcissism of the Faux Marxist.
But their lived experiences, you're the problem. If you're offended by women saying they're afraid of men, you're the problem. If you're immediately reprimanding instead of listening and understanding, if you're offended by people's lived experiences, you're the problem.
Oh yeah, I mean people like that have never been told, especially hot when they're hot like that, have never been told to shut the fuck up. You know? Like just no one's ever been yeah, if you're that woman, hot and a radical leftist, usually pretty rich and educated, like every protester at No Kings protest is a white, educated, radical leftist woman. Just a total retard. And they need it. I mean, they never were told to shut the fuck up by anyone.
Liberal capitalism is collapsing under the weight of modernity. And the younger generations can sense this. They feel it. And what is happening as a response to being able to sense this is not trying to double down into the system. No, no, no. It is ethereally abstracting from it via the internet and coming up with these fantasy-esque tropes in order to cope with this reality and in order to confront this reality. What the left in particular is doing is they are approaching this imminent problem with a sense of aestheticized despair. Of this aestheticized despair has this sort of romantic idea of a revolution behind it. But this Marxism is a fashion piece. It is not praxis. It is purely performative. The internet has allowed the accessibility of Marxist ideas to proliferate in such a manner that people are saying things like we need to seize the means of production without even knowing what part of Marxist's works he actually says this in. It has democratic socialists voting for Zamboni not knowing that this is a literal quote from Marx. It is Marxist talking points wearing a donkey costume and calling itself a democratic socialist, which is kind of hilarious because these people they don't know what they're talking about. And it's really troubling as somebody who went to a college who studied Marx extensively to a nauseating amount. Like it was, I can't stand Marx. I really can't. And as a former Marxist, you can just sense the bullshit. You can sense the fake Marxist, I'm a communist. Like, you cannot be a communist and sell your newspaper at these rallies. And I know I just pissed off the 5 communists watching this, and they're probably saying, well, we need capital in order to fund the revolution. But that's proving my point. That's the aesthetic rather than the praxis. The praxis is the practice, which would be to hand out your paper for free and to be a living embodiment of the ideas that you're claiming you're willing to die for. One of the best examples of this performative communist revolutionary idea is this guy named Chandler from one of Nick Shirley's ongoing series.
That's my name.
Nick Shirley is an independent journalist, and he goes to protests, what the left calls festivals, and he, reports on the things that are happening on the ground. It's very interesting. It's really good content. But he sides with the.
This is the guy that's that's pretty much like not homeless and has his genitals still intact, and I think he still likes fucking trannies, and it might be gay or bi. I don't know what the fuck is up with him sexually, but I'm pretty sure this Chandler individual is the one that is like uh the leader of these protests and riots that are going on in Portland, outside the ICE facility and all over the streets. And, they're setting up the encampments. They're fucking, attracting the just most grotesque type of people you've ever seen in your life. Disgusting, vile creatures that need to get fucking, just pepper sprayed ad nauseum. But also, these are the same people that are setting up these riots and protests that are then leading to National Guard coming in and going to end up in like a martial law situation, which is not where you want to go either. But this Chandler individual is the one that's like been housing a lot of these trannies and these Antifa members that are just violent, usually pedophile freaks that are trying to mask what they did in their past. uh but they're also like, yeah, like I said, violent, and he's been like housing a lot of them. He has them to his apartment to kind of plan and organize everything that they're doing in Portland, Oregon. And it is great, funny footage to watch, like, because there's a bunch of like right-wing people that are down there doing long streaming and shit, and kind of combating the protests. But it's quite hilarious to watch these fucking psychopaths on both sides. But the Antifa one and this Chandler guy are by far more narcissistic, sociopathic, and definitely psychopathic.
So I understand why some people might not like it. Whatever, right? It's good content. He's a young kid. He's trying really hard. But there's somebody that is a part of this Portland Antifa scene. And the joke amongst these Antifa types is that everybody poops at Chandler's. And Chandler is somebody who has an apartment complex.
I think he's also known. Yeah, he's probably gonna go into it. Izzy, shout out Izzy. But this Chandler person, yeah, everyone poops at his house. Yeah, he's also like, it's alleged that he's throwing like Diddy style parties at this apartment, I guess.
To the ICE facility. So they all go into Chandler's to use the restroom. That's the joke. And what ended up happening was every single night they confront ICE and they have their protests, and ICE comes outside and they have to clear up the streets or whatever it is that they have to do, right? And Antifa will face them, and it's a little face-off. And sometimes the Antifa types will punch somebody or hit somebody, and then they get arrested, etc. You've seen the dozens and dozens of videos of this by now. But this Chandler person has become quite the character. And he definitely is one of these theater trope-esque individuals that I've been talking about. When he was standing across from the ICE agents, and ICE is walking out in their full military garb, about to do what they do, Chandler begins to break out in a solemn song as if it's the Hunger Games.
So let's see, you got all these people in black blocks. That is what I would consider to be Antifa. Then you also have Chandler, legendary Chandler.
All the dead our money kills. Never mind the widow's weeping. Disregard the orphan's cry. When God waits the dead and sleeping, they'll be paid for by and by.
Keep it going, Chandler. That's pretty good, actually.
That's the end of the song.
You have another one? Next.
Some other time, yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. You got a deep voice, bro. You gotta use that thing.
Protesting doesn't work out, definitely become an artist.
Yeah, that's good advice, Haley. If protesting doesn't work out, we're back.
And I'm so sorry. It is so performative and so silly and so ridiculous. This is reality. This is real life. I understand that,
When God waits,
it's so hard to watch.
when God waits,
It's so fake.
when God waits,
You're singing an old revolutionary song
when God waits,
about orphans.
when God waits,
I don't even think that we have orphans anymore. I don't
when God waits,
think orphans exist any longer.
the dead and sleeping.
But to break out in this solemn song,
When God waits, the dead
the orphans of old,
when God waits,
they're coming around,
when God waits,
and they're going to take them away. What?
when God
Like, dude,
when God
what the fuck, bro? And this furthers my point. This revolution is content. This is content. It's not the consequence of the actions of, the capitalists who are taking advantage of the disenfranchised. They're not doing it because of that. It's extremely prevalent, right? I personally feel like if this was not a performative action, the way he would go about this would be completely different. He's speaking with like a fake accent that's like not even from any discernible place. It's just a posh. I made a very strong point in this with the Rick Rubin videos. The truth resonates. The truth hits at a certain frequency. It is an archetypal, innate thing that is ingrained in our very soul. You can tell when something is authentic, and you can tell when somebody who is singing about orphans in 2025 is putting on a little bit of a show for everybody.
When God waits.
And this leads into my next point as a bit of a branch off. This is the TikTok emotional activist that I've also been seeing so much of, which has sparked a new theory known as nose ring theory or the septum ring theory, which basically means anybody with a septum ring in a video is probably going to have leftist talking points.
What in the world is happening in our country right now?
And they're probably going to be crazy and like so left, it's not even on the political spectrum anymore.
And if you think the poor people and people on food stamps are lazy, I encourage you to look at the lazy piece of shit inside of yourself.
It is that of mental illness.
Absolute just disgust.
But let's sort of rewind it a little bit. Basically, this emotionalized activism, it mimics action and it mimics, like it's trying to do something.
Septum ring theory? What now? What's next?
But really what it is it's all for validation. It is designed for validation. There is a theme with them. It's almost like a script, right? And the theme and the tone always follows someone is a bad guy. I'm outraged because they're so bad, and I can't believe it because I'm so good.
Trump is going to do his best not to leave. We all know that if he's still here. He's going to do his best not to leave. We all know that. And we know that he doesn't care about what he's allowed to do, what he's not allowed to do. He does what he wants to do, okay? So he's going to build this ballroom, whether or not he's supposed to or allowed to. I don't even want to talk about all that. What I want to ask is, one day he's gone, right? He's either not the president anymore or he's fully gone. And let's say that this grand experiment we call America doesn't go up in flames after all of this or during all of this, and we have like a next president, like a next real president, like we just go back to how things used to be prior to Trump the best we can. You're the president. What the fuck are you supposed to do with that goddamn ballroom?
Now, this exploiting of the internet in order to get emotional validation for oneself through virtue signaling is really indicative and shows something much deeper going on, which is a form of covert narcissism. Covert narcissism is when someone appears to be introverted or sort of passive aggressive, but really what they are is they are narcissists who use situations like this to manipulate others through the tactic of playing victim or using guilt trips. And this is the complete position of like most like white women liberals, honestly. Like that's what they do. They're here. They're in the or. Yep. It is power through victimization. They always do this. I can't believe it. Wow, woe is me. Sounds like a very particular group of individuals who do this. Never mind. Now, in my opinion, this is actually created by the educational system, which
I gotta run and do something. It'll take me a couple minutes. Just keep watching.
Rewards this sort of victimhood, and it really perpetuates this cultural Marxism that is always trying to distinguish between oppressed and oppressor. And usually people who have the more leftist ideas find themselves in this oppressed category, and they love to push themselves deeper and deeper into this category. It's a very unhealthy perspective. It's a very unhealthy way to live. It completely fucks your brain up.
My pharmacy that sends me my medications in the mail keeps sending them with childproof caps, despite there being multiple notes in my account to not do that.
But that's what they want. They want their brain to be fucked up. They want to appear like they're the ones that are fucked up.
I just learned that I don't get to eat this month. I don't get my food stamps this month because a motherfucker in the White House, an orange motherfucker in the White House, wants a ballroom for $3 billion. I don't get to eat. What?
because this gets them that attention. It allows them to be victims, and it allows them to call other people names in order to inflict violence upon them. This is the tactic of the faux Marxist. They don't call people Nazis because they believe they're Nazis. They don't call people fascists because they believe they're fascists. They call them these things because that way violence can be done to them.
As a woman,
Notice how the Punch a Nazi referendum came out before any sort of, list of how to identify a Nazi, right? The 14 points of fascism that I've gone over on this channel are an afterthought. They don't care what categories and how many points of it you fill up, because if you've already been labeled a Nazi, then you're a Nazi, and then they can shoot you in the neck.
What's up, shooters and future shooters in America? Have you been interested in getting a gun and maybe shooting some cool things like maybe a fucking Klansman? Well, I got him. I got the white Klansman over here, the Grand Wizard Klansman over here. I got the dang Nazi from World War II. I got a fascist in America. I got the American Gestapo, and I got more American fascists. And what's going on here is we are making a bunch of gun range targets to make the fun at the gun range a little bit more entertaining, because who doesn't want to shoot a Nazi or a Klansman or some other racist piece of shit? That's kind of our goal right now. But just want to let you guys know that the price of
I love knowing that that's the person that we gotta fight. I have to fight alongside if America's invaded, and these are the types of people that we're supposed to fight with if our land's invaded. And they're selling fucking targets that put false labels, leading to a lot of shootings and a lot of killings, based on this false sense of what a Nazi, what a fascist is. They create these just fake definitions in their head, and this is who we're supposed to fight alongside of if we have to, if we're put in that situation. And that's pretty crazy to fucking think about. And it's not the person I want to be fucking fighting next to.
pretty simple. 5 units for $12, 10 units for 22, 20 units for 40, 25 for 50, and 30 for 55. If you like what we're doing, consider supporting us, because we want to make more gun range targets. We already have future gun range targets for something Red Cap related, and some other more Nazi zombies and stuff like that, and maybe some other stuff that we'll see if we put it out. Anyways, if you also like the shirt that I'm wearing, this is one that we make. We are a DIY screen printing company that happens to sell gun.
Normalize political violence. That's what his shirt says.
Yeah, thanks for the video. All right.
Which is the point. The point is to justify the bad behavior, because the behavior of a narcissist is one that is ever consuming of the self, and it punishes everyone around you for just being around. That's what narcissists do. That's why the only way to defeat a narcissist is by not playing their game whatsoever. And if you've ever dealt with a narcissist, this makes them more furious than anything, because the narcissist doesn't care about what your reaction is. It only cares that it's getting a reaction. So to these people who are doing this sort of emotional activism where, they're basically just virtue signaling, right? It doesn't matter if what they're doing is helping. They don't care. They just want a reaction out of those they deem their enemy. And when you have this cultural Marxism that is operating and creating an oppressor dialectic, everyone is the enemy. Right? And when everyone is the enemy, you become the romanticized rebel in your own fucked up head. You become Bonnie and Clyde with the cops on your tail, because that's what they believe. These leftists literally believe that there is the stormtroopers all around and they're gonna get you and take you somewhere bad. And that's just not reality. That's not real world. That's not the real thing.
Chapter 3, the non-playable characters of a faux Marxist left.
I don't have any sort of patriotism in my heart for any, for America, but just in general. I'm not like a very, I care about people.
So this is Hassan Piker in his recent China trip, where he essentially like spews out bullshit out of his fucking Turkish gay mouth. His dog shot collar, mouth. This is him in China basically saying that he'd rather live in a place like China than America, and that it seems that he enjoys the culture and I guess society of China more than where he lives, which is the United States, which is the country that took him in. He's from Turkey, who won't let him back into his home country. He's Turkish. Turkey won't let him back in because of how he's criticized them, and the way he talks about America uh, is absurd. But he's allowed to, and but he has no patriotism for the country that took him in, and he's going to China, meeting with Xi Jinping, and probably, I don't know, I have no clue what's going on there. They probably bugged his phone. He probably, you know, made some deal with it. I don't know. I don't know why you're meeting with him. Why Hassan Piker should be meeting with dictators and these people like the president of China and top leaders there. And it's almost like he's taking the trip to Israel, where you have to say good things about them on your social media, but he's doing it for China. Now, he has some smart things to say, and he makes communism and Marxism almost sound attractive if you're a young retard that's never kind of studied history or looked at, uh, you know, any of the manifestos written by the people that created these ideologies, or even just read a book for that matter, or watched a film. uh, he can say things really scholarly and make them sound attractive. He was just on trigonometry, which the two trigonometry guys are fucking two dumbass clowns that think they're comedians, that spew out shit that people know is obvious, and they think they're some type of revolutionary fucking philosophers or something, when in reality they're just two UK Brits that should keep their fucking mouth shut about the US because they have nothing to contribute. Uh, but the only thing they contribute is going on Rogan and just being a complete fucking uh, uh, abomination, to be honest, of what comedy is viewed as. But they just had a debate with Hassan Piker, and it's just bullshit. I mean, they're sitting there arguing, two Brits and a fucking Turkish dude that lives in the U.S. about about U.S. politics, culture, and society, and they're just all three of them are fucking dummies.
Sexuality.
My name is Connor Gardner Weston. I'm 27 years old.
I think that part must be on his Patreon. You must have not been able to put it on YouTube about Hassan.
I live in Dayton, Ohio. I am an anti-contact, non-offending pedophile.
If you aren't trying to be based, stated there are also some things in
If you identify as a non-contact, non-offending pedophile, and you identify with that, and you tell people that publicly, you should do what I'm about to say. You should do it. Do it. Do it, dude. Disgusting.
might trigger you, Justin Ward.
And I meant not act on your thoughts. I meant yourself.
Welcome.
Discovered this event page online, and what they found was absolutely disturbing. Apparently, this camp for pedophiles was held September 19th through September 22nd of 2024.
Is that it?
Jeopardy.
So yeah, shout out Izzy, fire video. We're gonna watch the right wing one too, but I think we're gonna finish that Nephilim, my lunch break video as well. But let's see what's going on. I know I was listening to No Way Jose this morning, and he was going over some good stuff about the whole Candace thing, this whole assassination plot that's apparently been organized to take out Candace by Israeli intelligence or Israeli, forces and French forces as well. I don't know if it's true. I mean, people were saying file a police report. Not because it'll do anything. Filing a police report. I don't know if that, but it's illegal to file a fake police report. So if she doesn't file it, it's like, why won't you do that? But if she does file it, it kind of shows that she's not lying about it because, I mean, she wouldn't do something illegal, right? I don't know. We'll see. So something's going on. Some new crypto scam, betting scams going on. I guess that's here, I'll share my screen. So we got what? Breaking. Multiple dissident right-wing accounts have been caught promoting an unregulated offshore crypto casino called Bigger Z, tied to Serbia, Pakistan, France, and Africa, with no owners and no transparency. So yeah, I mean, you have Elijah Schaefer, the dude that got arrested at the riots in Portland, Oregon. Stu Peters, who doesn't like the Jews very much, but has made some good shit. You have Jake Shields in here. I don't know, Pearl Davis, ugly bitch that thinks she has anything to contribute. Morgan, Ariel, and Jack Wallace. I mean, I don't know what. I mean, so what does this even mean? Gambling isn't a sin. Spare me with your fake moral courage. Notice how you aren't defending the post by claiming it's going to help people make money. Rather, you're just trying to gaslight and sugarcoat how destructive gambling is. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just making sure the sound is good. Yo, yeah, we're good. All right. Here, let me get this layout. Still figuring out this live shit, this whole setup. All right. Yeah, let's go here. So this is. I thought Raiders fans were supposed to be crazy. This one sounds calculated and definitely cold. LOL. This is one of the accounts. Check out biggerz.com if this is your kind of thing. The account was suspended. All right. Raiders fan turns 3K into 23K betting against his team. Okay. Yeah, wild. Let's see. I don't know. I don't really give a fuck about all that bullshit, to be honest. Maybe we'll get some more information on that shit later. But I was reading this. This is from Open Minded Approach. I've been bringing him up a lot lately. He's he has a lot of great content and info on this theory that there's a cyclical event that's basically a cataclysm that wipes out civilizations, and it's, like I said, cyclical, and most people are being dumbed down and are unaware of this happening, things like the Younger Dryas, and the elites are apparently aware, and they are actively and intentionally making sure the people stay ignorant to this while they build like these huge bunkers underground in the side of mountains all over the world, so that if there's a sudden cataclysm that results in wiping our species out, causing a global cooling, they will have some means of survival so that they can, keep humanity going once the cataclysm ends, and they're the survivors. A lot of people talk about like the prophets, and a lot of the scriptures that are holy are survivors of cataclysms that kind of restarted civilization. But this is a post from 2 hours ago. He goes, wait a minute. Why is the Long Now Foundation involved in this bet between Avi Loeb and Michael Shermer about whether aliens will be confirmed by 2030? The Long Now Foundation, responsible for the 10,000-year clock placed high in a Texas mountain, along with the Rosetta Disk containing over 1,500 preserved languages and a manual for restarting civilization, understands that the UAP phenomenon is connected to the geophysical event, cyclical resets, the breakaway civilization, and interdimensional forces. I've talked about this before, but few people listened, and now here they are right in the middle of this bet. I mean, okay, so a long bet, the arena for accountable predictions. Okay, discovery or disclosure of alien visitation to Earth in the form of UFOs, UAPs, or any other technological artifact or alien biological form, as confirmed by major scientific institutions and government agencies, will not happen by December 31st, 2030. Yeah, I mean, Avi Loeb is a fucking op for sure. Look at it, ties to an Israel intelligence, telling you 3-Eye Atlas is some type of fucking spaceship. I don't fucking know, dude. A bunch of people are gonna fall for fucking Project Bluebeam for sure. Let's see if there's any. Oh, the new Crack Amico song's fire. Let's listen to it actually.
A lot of stuff you guys say in general, I think is stuff that's kind of childish. I'm changing from a sit to a pimp. All right, bro. Can we grow up?
I was popping my and living my best life in these white boy frat houses, and I had a roster of guys that I would rotate through.
You know it's hard out here for sin. When you're trying to give your honey every cent. With all the favorite podcasts, money spent. But let them hoes talking shit on Fresh and Fit. You know it's hard out here for a G. When you find out that you're woman for the streets. Is it really worth the bombs and the chain? You getting scum blooded, please do not redeem. In my eyes, I done seen some crazy things from these cheats. Guess the marriage didn't go how they arranged it to be. Say his name, I regains, put you in a headlock. Motherfucker turned a red pill into a red dot. Headshot, Dred Scott, never seen this type of whipping. Got you tripping, gave her 2 rings like a gymnast. Now she flipping, caught you slipping. Need to stop the ticky-tocking, clock is ticking to that hoe. Drop a phone, hit the kitchen, do the dish. Drop the special, full of some hack bits. Ironically named it gaslit. That's some sad shit. Need to head back to the gas pump where your dad is. If you ain't gon' keep your hands strong, then drop the black set. Fuck that shit, I hope you rise and turn to a savage. No more buying them Birkin bags when they come with baggage. You was trying to hone your craft, she was with them frat kids. They was busting out of back while they playing Madden. Man, I ain't trying to make you mad, I hate that this happened. Time to take off on your carpet, gotta drop the Jasmine. This what happens when you go 30 years of life and never get none. Looking like a poo don't mean you need to be a simp, son. Cash, please keep your cash free. On the other side, the grass green with no jazz lean. Need to wake up from this bad dream. She only love you for your name. Guess it must be all the bundles of cash that make her sing. You're a king, you just need a real queen for the throne. Independent brown baller and your money is your own. She ain't working, cooking, cleaning, don't contribute to your home. All she do is take away from what you grown. I say brown boy, sell it quick. Got bitches wanna check, leash tight, no slack. Time to take that pussy back. Go and seize on that bitch. Her soul rotten, can't spray no Febreze on that shit. Gotta unbelieve what the fuck you mean, don't need no dominance. At least remove her internet. She lacking basic intellect. You hate her, but you love her when you get her right. She slipping left and right when you give lips. She got you missing pecs and kissing next. She giving sex, stop giving checks. Someone should be giving next.
Yeah, so go listen to it. Shout out Crack Amico. People think that like fucking like parody rap is like not that can't have bars or some shit. Like I don't know what the fuck they're I don't know. I guess some people are like, oh, it's just parody rap. He's just making jokes. It's not serious. It's like, yeah, he can make funny ass jokes. He's basically, I mean, he is like in the comedy scene, but also he's like, oh, he is pretty fucking good. He's pretty good. He's got some bars, in my opinion. And people are like, oh, it's parody rap though. He's making jokes. It's not serious. You're a retard. Just because it's not a bunch of people, from O Block or Atlanta or who we all love their music too, but just because it's not a bunch of those people that, kill themselves and then rap about it, literally like, over like some type of video or some type of diss, they'll go and kill each other over it. And they might have been friends like a year before that. I mean, if that's the only rap that you believe is like real serious rap, then you're a fucking retard. Yeah, I love drill rap, but it's just about a bunch of people that are from like the same place that make songs about killing each other. And they're of the same demographic. They're just killing each other, and then they rap about it, and then they essentially give a confession, end up arrested if they don't get killed before they get arrested. Love the rap, but there's different forms, and people get so butthurt or about like Crack Amico that people like fuck with this shit, take it seriously. Like, yeah, it's jokes. I was laughing my ass off, but it was still fucking bars in my opinion. And I like all kinds of rap, but I like this one. I mean, I like Crack Amico shit, fire. And I love his pod. He does like a it's not Red Bar exactly, but he does like a Red Bar like type stream or podcast where he does a lot of commenting and watching of shit and gives his observations about it, and then at the end he'll like allow people to send him you know uh some beats, and he'll just fucking go off the top of the dome. I think it's called Off the Dome that he calls that little segment, but he's fucking good. He's good on the spot. He's funny, and I don't know, I fuck with his shit. And that sucks for Akash, and this is hilarious. And yeah, he's coming at him, but he's kind of like telling him like, yo, I'm making jokes about you. I'm fucking, I'm kind of I don't know. I mean, it's not what you want to hear about yourself, but it is the truth, and it's probably more genuine and uh you know it's more genuine than like probably what Andrew Schultz is going to tell him or any of his other friends. Like, dude, get the fuck out of that relationship. But who knows? I don't know if I don't know if what the Indians really believe regarding divorce. I don't know. I think she would be down to get divorced with him and take half his shit. I don't know though. We'll see. But if apparently he was on the road when all this shit was going down too. So I mean, I don't know if I like came back and that I saw like that and how my wife was acting and what she was saying about me and her past, especially believing she was a virgin and telling people that beforehand. I don't know what I would do. I have no clue. Yeah, I have no clue. I don't know. A lot of people feel bad for him. I don't. I mean, the guy is a cocky piece of fucking trash comedian, trash podcast, and just a little fucking bitch, to be honest. And I know that's I'm a no one compared to him, but his wife is talking about getting her back blown out by whatever will walk and talk besides him. Telling people, yeah, I don't know, it's crazy. Telling Myron how to act and how he should be treating women, and why Myron fails with whatever fails with the dating realm of our lives. I don't. That was a while back when he told Myron that on a podcast. He's kind of talking shit about Fresh and Fit to them, and then turns out his wife enjoys going on podcasts and talking about her friend's husband's dick and how and never brings up her fucking little G ass husband Akash unless he's giving her an $80,000 ring and kissing her on the cheek. All right. Katy Perry suing an 85-year-old, a dying disabled veteran, demanding he pay $5 million in a property dispute. Katy Perry, no, I mean, I'm not even gonna give her the time of the day. She's a fucking retard. What the fuck? Damn. Let's see. Is there any all right, Joe Rogan explores UAPs, AI alert. Let's see what's going on with JP Morgan. So JP Morgan's going through like a potential boycott due to Jamie Dimon's connections with Jeffrey Epstein that, have been known for a while. If you've been looking in, if you've, kept up to date and actually did your own research when all this shit started coming out about Jeffrey Epstein. But Jamie Dimon obviously was his banker, the CEO of JP Morgan. And also, like, Epstein brought so many more. Jamie Dimon and Chase and JP Morgan as a whole garnered so many more clients due to the connection that Jamie Dimon had with Jeffrey Epstein. And Jamie Dimon was aware of what was going on with Epstein. And so people are starting to figure this out finally. Fucking finally, like it's just right in front of your face. And there's a potential boycott. So JP Morgan is offering institutional clients a structured Bitcoin product using IBIT that pays off big if Bitcoin takes off in 2028 with some downside protections and parameters baked in. Here's how it works. This is retarded. In the last episode of the pod, I literally went over Epstein's like deep connections to Bitcoin and the crypto world as a whole. Like that shouldn't be trusted either. That whole decentralized fucking idea is out the window. It's been taken over by our current centralized banking system, and it's even more powerful now. It's not just monetary control, but data, digital ID, monetary control, all put together. JP Morgan's proposed instrument will set a specific price level for BlackRock's IBIT fund next month. In approximately a year, if IBIT is trading at a price equal to or greater than the set price, the notes will be automatically called. Automatically called, and investors will receive a guaranteed minimum return of 16%. If, however, IBIT's price is lower than the set price a year from now, the notes will not be called, and participating investors will ride the investment out until 2028. Should IBIT pass JP Morgan's next set price by the end of 2028, investors will earn 1.5 times on their investment with no cap. No cap, boy. No cap, boy. No cap, boy. Yeah, keep giving them fucking money for a digital fucking, number on a screen. Meaning if Bitcoin shoots up by 2028, investors stand to earn a hefty return. As an added protection and incentive, if IBIT is down in 2028, but by no more than 30%, investors will recoup their entire initial investment. Basically, the main reasons investors would choose this note over simply investing in IBIT with JP Morgan's instrument, investors get a chance at a 1.5 times or 1.5 fold upside, a fixed return if IBIT is flat in a year, and long-term downside protection up to 30%. If IBIT is down more than 30% in 2028, however, investors lose the equivalent of IBIT's depreciation. All right. So, I don't put your money in Bitcoin, but you can if you, do it if you want. JP Morgan accused of participating in market manipulation. JP Morgan dumped 25% of its MSTR shares just before MSCI said Bitcoin-linked companies potentially won't be added to major indexes. All right, JP Morgan is scum. I have an account. I'm trying to switch it. I have multiple, but I just want to kind of end that account. It's bullshit. I mean, I don't want to be in, I just don't want to give anyone business that was connected to fucking Epstein. That's why I don't have Bitcoin anymore. Didn't have a lot, but I would dabble in it just because it's, alternative, what was said to be decentralized, and the replacement for our already corrupt centralized banking system. But that turned out to just be completely false. All right. Somali. Why is Somali trending? Is there another crashed fucking truck on the side of the road? I mean, all right, let's watch the other video from Izzy talking about the right's fake fascist problem. All right.
If you've been eyeing Paramount Plus, now is the time to start streaming. It's a win-win. With the Paramount Plus Black Friday offer. Pretty sweet, dude. Paramount Plus. Get the Black Friday offer and stream now.
Airwick's vibrant fragrances.
My bad. I don't know why I'm playing these fucking ads.
You are now watching Base F. Enjoy.
Now, whereas the left had a non-future, the right has a hyper-future. And what I mean by this is the right is going to exist in a hyper-caricaturized version of itself. Whereas today
You gotta take a
you have
leap.
the conservative, what we are moving towards is a hyper-nationalistic fascist, basically. You're gonna have fascists. Like, okay, and I'm someone who I align more with the right than I do the left. The purpose of this video is so I can go back to being apolitical, because I don't think that me inserting my political presence is particularly good. I am somebody who operates in a way in which I've exiled myself politically from reality, because I feel like it is a tether that is it's just not good. It's not good. Me and politics is not a good combination in relation to the public, right? That being said, man is a political creature. And what the right is the right is becoming a hyper perversion of that political entity. The faux Marxist is empty, right? The faux fascist is abundantly full.
Chapter 1. Defining the mythical faux fascist.
They chipping out.
And when you're full, this leads to an overindulgence, right? This overindulgence is the mythical hangover that we're kind of talking about in this part 1. And now we are on to part 2. And I'm tired. I'm recording these back to back. This has been a long day. I'm gonna be honest. When I started this one, I'm a little manic. My eyes, when one of them starts getting lazy, that's how you can tell I'm kind of having a manic thing going on. Because when the eye gets wonky, I get talky, chinky, 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 chunky. Oh man, that was bad. All right. Time to calcify. Time to calcify. We're about to strassutia. This bad boy, strassutia. Yeah, man, this is doesn't even burn. Doesn't burn where doesn't. Damn it! It doesn't burn where we're going. It doesn't burn where we're going. Oh man, it's so fucking gross, dude. Why do I do this? Man. All right. Now the thing with the right is it is the opposite of the left. They have opposing problems. It's almost completely inversed all of the issues. Where with the left, we have individuals striving for meaning. And they are basically these sort of covert narcissists who have these gaping holes in them. And these holes they're trying to fill with a secular political ideology in order to further advance themselves therapeutically.
Someone needs to tell the princess trad wife, I don't talk to the waitress, staff, influencers about dom and sub relationships, get them involved in the kink scene, introduce them to BDSM. Because I'm glad people are talking about this, because this is what it's what I've always thought, that these like super conservative traditional women, they have a thing for submission, but they don't, because there's just like no sexuality education if you have those views. So they think it's just like, oh, this is a woman's natural state, is to be submissive because I really like this. This makes me really happy. And they can't connect it, and so they just assume that all other women feel the exact same way. But I think it's like a kink thing. They're never gonna make that connection because they believe that that's just how women, like this is how women are naturally. When it's activating something in your brain, but you don't know what it's activating. But you should explore it a little bit in a way that doesn't damage other women and spread this false narrative.
Right? Basically, you have these overly educated people who are extremely bored, who are trying to feel something by causing political hellscape and a Marxist revolution. That's what you have, right? On the right, what you have is you have people who have family, they have these values, they usually have God, right? But what they have is a mythical hangover. And what they worship is a memory of power. The modern conservative movement is nostalgia in a uniform.
Welcome to Day in My Life as a trad religious girl in America. I start with icon veneration and morning prayers. Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Then I make a morning orange juice with collagen before I do research. Instead of clubbing and sleeping around, I live a healthy and holy life. I detox the feminism out of my body. I try to live healthy to prepare my body for future childbirth. A lot of days I like to practice meals and different desserts for my future husband. Today I'm making apple crisp. And I'm also making a steak because red meat equals fertility. And fertility equals birthing babies to fight Zionism. Then I end the night at church where God's plan is greater than mine. Yay.
That's really what it is. As the liberal capitalism collapses, the right answers with flags, iconography, slogans, and symbols of an emptied sacrifice because today's contemporary man is sort of one that wishes it fought in World War II or possibly Nam or the Iraq War.
He's wearing stolen valor. Stolen valor. Where were you based at? Where were you based at? Why is your combat patch on your right shoulder, not your left shoulder? That's stolen valor. Your combat patch should be on your right shoulder, not your left side. Where are you based at?
It's not in the military. It's in cadet program.
What do those pins stand for?
Chief Master Sergeant Cadet.
Chief Master Sergeant died in 08.
Men used to go to war, as the bitches say nowadays, right? And as a man, we long for that. It is a mythologized, purposeful wishing of that sort of power. We're sort of like these curators of lost glory, where the left romanticizes revolution and is trying to romanticize reality through this. The right romanticizes remembrance, and it remembers the mythology that history was. But what I want to be clear on when I'm talking about the potentiality of the faux fascist becoming a more of a true fascist is it's not out of this sort of spiteful way that the left sort of is. The left is bored with itself. The right is a reaction to the nature of the left. The left right? The left is trying to find a moralistic virtue in demonizing the people.
It's literally a natural law of physics, right? Equal and opposite reactions. I mean, isn't that like just a natural law of physics?
On the right. So what the right does is it moves further. It moves further into itself. This is how we get that overindulgence. This is how we get the nationalistic ideologies from the mythologization of history. They turn history into this amazing idyllic thing because that is the escapism they have to go to. They have to escape this relentless tormenting nature of the faux Marxist. And what ends up happening is in this mythologization of like, you know, the trad meme pages and like looking at the Roman Colosseums is instead of becoming, you know, something that is structurally empowered by the things that created those things, right? Like sort of like picture the Colosseum, right? What built the Colosseum was a certain kind of societal strength. And what ends up happening with the faux fascist is it falls in love with the imagery of strength. No. Right? With the imagery of bravery. With the imagery and the aesthetic, just like the leftist, right? The statues and the Spartan memes, the Crusader. These are powerless, empty echoes of civilizations that have been dead, right? And they are alive in us, like as a white person. It's alive ancestrally in my DNA, but it is it's when I go to McDonald's, I'm not living like a Spartan. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm watching memes of, you know, hyper Catholic like crusade memes. The Jews hate the Catholic Church, and you want to know why? Because the Catholic Church is Rome. While I have Pornhub open on another tab.
Crusades were a response to 7 centuries of Islamic aggression.
There's something not clicking here, right? Does that make sense? And this becomes aesthetic nationalism, right? Beneath the posturing of this, you know, I'm a trad Aryan, right? What you get is you get grief. You get the loss of transcendence, right? Like think about that. You lose. You're having to become these things and put on this aesthetic power because you have lost something, right? And really, what it is it's sort of the loss of the archetypal father role in your spiritual life. Warning, this is some serious knowledge I'm about to drop. This can change your life if you let it. This is some fire. It took me a long time to realize this. This is the one. If you're not warned right now, if you're not weary of this, be weary because you might become untamed. You might become an untamable beast if you listen to this next part. And this sort of the death of this father archetype is that which represents authority, a transcendental authority. It's a principle that sets limits to the amount of chaos that's going on within reality. It gives meaning to law and to hierarchies and to the way society is ordered, right? And when you have what is going on in society right now, the father role that basically society plays becomes degraded and breaks down, and you lose that sense of order and control, right? A great example of this is I'm living in, I'm obviously living in a town, right? And one day I pulled out of where I'm living and I'm waiting at an intersection. Okay, red light. Light turns green. I go to drive, and someone blows the red light entirely. Almost, it would have killed me. This person was probably going like 70 miles an hour in a residential zone. Would have killed me, 100%. I look over to my left. There's a cop on my left, and there's a cop behind him on my right. So there's two cops, and no one pulled them over.
You want paradise for toes?
Yeah, so I mean, the right. I mean, the right has become just as bad as the fucking left at this point. I mean, they're both fucking filled with pieces of shit and people playing a fucking, essentially engaging in theater class. It makes zero sense. So, I mean, and like you said, it's just the right is going to be a reaction to the left, and then the right's reaction will cause a new reaction, and even more aggressive and a more what should I say, a more potent reaction. It's just going to go back and forth, back and forth.
There's a cop behind the dude. So I called the police office. I called the police station and I filed the complaint. And I was speaking to the head of the traffic division in my town. And the cop basically told me, just gave me a complete runaround, and basically told me that they don't really pull people over for running red lights in where I live. So that is the sort of fatherhood archetype I'm talking about, right? There is where there is no law and order that is supposed to be being handed down from these masculine type of figures like the police. I now literally do not respect the police in my area, which not that I ever really did, but now I really don't. And if I am waiting on a red light and there's nobody around me, I just run the red light now because I know no one's going to get in trouble for it. I'm not going to get in trouble for it. Who cares? And this is why. This honestly, if you want to know why so many people are returning to religion, not in a spiritual way. If you want to explain it psychologically, like in a way that Carl Jung would describe it, or maybe Freud would describe it, it's that right there. The God stands between chaos and form. His word, the logos, is the source of order between heaven and earth.
Well,
Right?
people are also returning to religion, as also because like we have, as human beings and souls, we have a deep yearning for something beyond this physical reality that we call life on earth. There's something in our souls deep inside of us that like yearns for something, and when you become an atheist, everyone kind of goes through a phase. Some never come out of that phase of mental illness. That's almost like a test to who you are, and I mean your ability to think for yourself and uh, understand your emotions. You come to the conclusion that there's a void that needs filling once you experiment with atheistic ideologies, and you kind of delve into the atheistic realm of uh, how to view and navigate the world. You inevitably feel a void that opens up once you take on this atheist ideology that seems to always, most of the time, send people all the way back to yearning for that sense of a higher being or spirituality, religion.
And if we think about it in an abstractified version, even the heaven in our mind, the ethereal workings of consciousness versus the material reality outside of us, right? There has God is what gives us that sort of form, that sort of order between these two realms. So when you have God and you go back to that, the world begins to make sense again. And when you have that shattered by modernity, really the Enlightenment, which is what if we rewind to the last video, right? What precedes the Romantic era? Well, it's the Enlightenment. Well, the Enlightenment is what killed God, and when this happens, meaning is gone.
It made the fucking faggot nerds, the ones that you find within all these universities and institutionalized places. It gave those people, the fucking retard faggots, the nerds, all the power to say what's right and wrong regarding what to believe, what's out there that we don't know. It essentially gave the Enlightenment gave the nerds the fucking power to tell people what the unknown actually is when they're still in the unknown themselves. This is what bred people like Peter Faggot Hotez and his fat ass.
There is no meaning from above. And this father figure is no longer there to orient reality. This is what led to Romanticism in the first place, right? Was basically the death of God. And if you read Nietzsche, this is what he talks about when he says God is dead. He's not talking about a literal, real God being dead. He's talking about in a cultural, metaphysical sense within the culture of society. Right? And that is what he's talking about. And when you have God dead in this way, this is what it leads to. The leftists get romantic, and those on the right get hyper nostalgia mythological. So what happens is the right then tries to restore this version of the Father. It's a cult of restoration. It is defined by what it wants back, which is the archetypal fatherhood figure. It's not worried about what's next. Okay, that's what the left is worried about. The faux Marxist is worried about what's left. And it's so bored and crazy, and it needs such a narcissistic type of attention, right? I guess it's seeking attention. It's wanting to return to the empire, to the rigidity of the past. That's what it wants, because that sort of structure is the father. That's what it is. And this becomes political addiction, right? If you look at people who, follow those sort of like meme pages or those sort of edit pages, that's what they do. It's a form of political necromancy. It's digital necromancy. It's literally taking that which is dead, reanimating it digitally, and interacting with it, interfacing with it, and making that longing becomes the fatherhood figure. That longing replaces it, right? So whereas on the left, the outrage and the sort of emotional performative nature of their interfacing with the internet and with the digital, that outward sort of expression is their sort of political whatever. I don't know the correct word. They're like political activism, I guess. The inverse of that is what we have going on with the faux fascist, which is that longing. That longing is the energetic issue right here. So what we end up having is we have the inversion of vitalism, which is real fascism, like actual fascism, like not this like meme, like oh Hitler's cool, like real fascism. You know what I mean? And this is a movement of becoming, of reasserting life force and mythical unity. The faux fascists' version of movement is a movement of mourning. It is mistaking resentment for vitality. It worships vitality but refuses to embody it. Okay? This is This is liking the picture of the perfect Spartan man and his body while going to Burger King, right? That's what this is. It is reverse vitalism. It is the longing. Again, it's longing. It's wishing to be the Spartan, but not having the discipline to become the Spartan, right? This is the taming of the untamed, right? It's the longing. That longing is the spirit of being truly untamed. But to not enact it physically in the material is to be tamed. And basically, what we have is this is not the revolt against modernity that these people think that it is. A lot of people think that engaging in these memes and all of this stuff is a revolt, very much in line with the revolt of the leftists. But it's actually one of its most decadent products, which is like nostalgia and resurrecting myth through aesthetics, proving that it is a myth. That's what it does. It's proving it's dead. That's what mythologizing is. It's proving it doesn't exist anymore and it's long gone. It's furthering the dissidents from the archetypal father and wanting that longing for that. It's actually pushing him away. Isn't that fucked up? The way it's pushing it further away is again in that longing, right? You're mythologizing, not materializing, not actualizing, not truly being transcendental. It is longing to be transcendental while placing yourself even further down into the hole. And this is what ends up happening, which is truly like clownish, right? Is things begin to degrade, things begin to deteriorate around you as you are never actualizing the things you're longing for, and these things continue to fall apart in order to sort of
I mean, it's kind of like social media if you think about it. Like, it's like we're in this world now where people are doing so much less because they're consuming so much more. And what I mean by that, it's like people aren't traveling to these beautiful places. Not saying you have to, but they're happy enough watching other people travel to these places and post about it. And through those posts and content about these places that people are traveling to, people get some type of like, uh, retarded, dumbed down sense of also traveling to that place that they see someone travel to on social media or some type of, online. And so, or they watch people doing shit that they long to do, but they get some type of like, you know, I mean, they get some sense of actually doing those things, like watching people do, go travel to like all these different places around the world, snowboard at these different places that they've always wanted to do. But by seeing it online, they get like some sense of actually doing it themselves. So we're going into this world where the younger generation is doing so much less themselves because they're watching other people do what they've always wanted to do online and on social media, and in a sense they're okay with that, and that's good enough for them. So instead of doing all those things that they've dreamt about doing, they've become satisfied with seeing other people do them and watching it and getting some type of uh fucked up sense of actually also doing those things that they watch people do, and that satisfies their yearning and desire to do those things. Kind of, I guess it satisfies it.
mentally kind of cope with it, what happens is people then start to aesthetically decorate themselves and their reality around themselves by flying the flags even higher, right? The mythic hangover is remembering the feeling of greatness, but not being able to recapture it. It's kind of like the people who constantly talk about the good old days instead of making new days to be good. Like I was kind of one of those guys for a really long time. I would always think about like
All the old white guys that go, them good old days. Them good old days where you can say them coloreds. The good old days when you could say the coloreds and you didn't have to say people of color. which is the same fucking thing, you retards.
How great and awesome college was, or how great and awesome high school was, and I drank and I just wasted away, and that's like no way to live. And yeah, it's you have to start actualizing. You have to start living and being in the moment and doing it and being that vital human who can transcend. And this is the inherent contradictory issue of the faux fascist.
Chapter 2, Mythic Hangover.
I don't know. I can say I'm guilty of that myself. Honestly, I've wasted a lot of time doing stupid shit, to be honest, and making mistakes. And honestly, if I'm being honest, I'm being scared to do shit because of not knowing what the outcome is gonna be. And I don't know. That's just no way to live. And he's right. And honestly, I still struggle with shit like that, not taking chances, not doing the things I'm scared of. And it's not because I'm scared. It's like I want to do a lot of things, but being scared of what's going to happen if you try. It's just a stupid way to live, and I'm guilty of that. And I hate. It's one of the things I don't like about myself. But he's definitely right. It's like stop consuming so much, or stop. You're worrying or yearning for some other thing that's not going to be here anymore, or the past, I guess. Don't focus on what you've missed and kind of just start doing what you know you have made mistakes on in your past, like not actualizing things and fantasizing things more than saying and thinking and not doing, and it for stupid reasons.
And hide the future of the faux fascist.
You are not going to be able to convince me that the left constantly crashing out over trad wives comes from anywhere but a place of pure jealousy. Because they are not doing this because they're genuinely concerned about young women. They're doing this because they hate to see another woman happy in a heterosexual relationship and bringing back the nuclear family that they work so hard to destroy with their leftist agenda.
Now, on the left, we had the covert political narcissists. But on the right, what we have is the nostalgia-based political narcissist.
Today, instead of getting a college degree, I made some sourdough rosemary bread. Honestly, I feel like college is only for men. Dude, why would I go to a place that teaches you that Israel didn't do 9/11? They definitely did. I go party, I sleep around, like you can learn beautiful feminine skills. You can read the Bible. You can drink strawberry matcha tea. Prepare your body for how God made it. Childbirth, femininity and softness and love and kindness. Yeah, we should bring back genders. Men are kings, men lead. Women submit, serve. Women are queens. We get provided for. Softness.
And the faux fascists and the aesthetic right don't seek transcendence. They seek reflection. They stare into the mirror of history. And instead of seeing somebody who might need to improve or something that is actualizing itself, they
Basically the right doesn't know how to fucking progress, and they get stuck in some type of like trance that is fueled by nostalgia, like Izzy's saying, and also by like the inability to I guess embrace change and progress. uh you know I it I guess nostalgia kind of creates that, right? But the progress, if it's good, it's like it kind of is counterproductive not to take part and engage in it. So it's like not wanting to better yourself because, or it's like essentially maybe a couple not wanting to have kids because they want to remain acting as a kid, and they want to remain in the kid lifestyle that they love so much and don't want to give up, and in turn never have kids, which will bring on way better or more happiness and better well-being, and a set, and it would be a type of progress of growing. But they don't do it because of that nostalgic yearning for the past when you become a parent of the uh, lifestyle that kids live, which is fueled by just uh, I guess hedonistic things, but fun and you know fun and amazing experiences that a lot of people don't want to give up and are scared to, because it's so fun to remain in that kid-like lifestyle, and it's attractive when you're young to remain there and not go into the new stage of life, which would be having a family and becoming a parent. But the one thing I feel like that a lot of people miss, the couples that say, I just don't want to have to give up this lifestyle I love so much with my partner to have kids, uh, because I don't know, you love what you're doing so much and you don't think you'll be able to do it or get the same type of satisfaction from having kids. But the thing is, as a parent, I feel like if you watch your kid grow up and you raise them, you kind of still get to embrace and uh, feel that that I guess feeling and emotion you get when you're living the lifestyle as a kid, as you're growing up. You get to live like through your kids, not like forcing them to do things, but you get to see their happiness and witness it and also be a part of it.
A
I
heroic,
don't know.
disciplined, and chosen individual. Mythologizing the self, really. And this identity is formed and is postured up by a grief for a world that never really existed. The right's emotional engine isn't faith or duty to one's country, but it's a form of mourning for what once was. It grieves a civilization that it thought was once fully unified, pure, and was godly. But reality is not perfect. We don't live in a utopia. Reality was never this. This is sort of like, uh, on social media, you post your highlights. You don't post the lowlights. And that is very much what the history books are filled with. Well, depending if, I mean, we have a Ghislaine Maxwell education, right, where we've learned about all of the horrible things some groups have done and none of the good things those same groups have done. The same people who were doing slavery were the same ones who ended it, right? Things like that. But it's important to remember both sides of it, not just one, and that goes both ways, right? Whereas where the faux fascists would remember the good parts, the faux Marxists would remember only the bad parts, and a fully actualized individual who has a sort of healthy understanding of reality would know, recognize, and understand both. But that's going to put you in the orb if you're one of those people, because no one wants to hear that. People want to hear the boo-hoo how bad or yay yay rah rah how good. They don't want to hear a rational take.
Crusades were a response to 7 centuries of Islamic aggression.
And that's because for really both of these people, it's less about recovering the realities of history and more about escaping modern confusion by retreating into a systematized memory that is formed and has a sense of order. This is the returning to the father archetype.
All right. Not bad. But we're gonna listen to some. We're not gonna do the whole thing, like we just watched two whole episodes from Izzy, which were both fucking great. We're gonna do the Nick Fuentes. So hold on. Oh, Derp with Kerp. Shit. Oh, that's fire. Damn. I'm gonna have to watch that later. I want to. Shit. Should we watch it? See what they're talking about? All right, no, we're gonna do the Nick Fuentes, Jack Neal. We're gonna find the highlights at least. So, but I'm gonna go through Twitter right now, see if there's anything to anything worth talking about or making fun of. Let's see what we can find, to be honest. Share the screen. All right.
Capitalists out there that think the lower class people should be turned into oil. He's a Nepo baby. Duh. He's a fucking millionaire from Brooklyn. Duh. He went to Ivy League. Duh. God. He thinks he's a white supremacist. He thinks white people are inherently higher in IQ. And he formatted and is credited with developing the new right wing, like JD Vance. Bro spends his whole life trying to bring a deeper, darker version of 4chan. I couldn't even finish the YouTube video bibliography, or biography, whatever the fuck. I got two. This is not real. This is not. Someone's pranking me right now. How come? Why do you have to ruin my life and introduce me?
Who's Curtis Yarvin? I don't know. I guess it's probably one of these teal PayPal mafia types. What's this? Eric Schmidt and Henry Kissinger literally said that the outcomes of this either going to be the plebs rise against and overthrow the elites, or a new religion is made centered around AI. Whitney Webb and the Last American Vagabond discuss AI. Should we watch a little bit of this?
Global elite, essentially what I would call a Wizard of Oz cover.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
like,
the AI is super intelligent and so much smarter than us that we can't even question what it does, and AI can't explain itself to us.
Right. Accountability. That's the point.
There's no accountability. There's never going to be accountability with AI.
You and I have had this conversation before, and we posed this thought a while ago about, I might have been around the time when Schmidt made that statement about how, soon in the future, we're going to have to accept that they know better.
American AI national security policy. He runs it, and he's literally was named by Kissinger as his heir. So everyone's like, yay, Kissinger's dead. Well, pay attention to the guy that he passed the baton to, Eric Schmidt. Ex-Google head, running national security AI.
The point I made about Israel, specifically what they're doing with this AI system in Gaza, which is called it's called
gospel is the translation.
Habsora is the Hebrew word for the gospel. But so basically that I put forward the possibility that they are going to be, at some point, it's going to come back. I agree. It's going to come back to where they're going to say, like, if this ever ends up becoming to a point where it's accountable, and they go, well, right here, you can prove that you didn't kill only civilians. They're going to say, well, we just followed the AI, right? And like that will really
AI
happen.
knows it's so smart. It's so much smarter than well. This is why I think they're going to fake the singularity, because then they'll be like, it's superior intelligence to our intelligence. It can't explain itself, and we just had to do whatever it says. And Eric Schmidt and Henry Kissinger literally said that the outcome of this is either going to be the plebs rise against and overthrow the elites, which is obviously the outcome those guys don't want, or a new religion is made centered around AI.
Creepy.
How do you think it's going to go? Why is this thing called the gospel? I don't know. There's some weird stuff going on.
Very creepy.
Definitely go and read the Eric Schmidt Kissinger book on AI, The Age of AI and Our Human Future. It's very Orwellian. Basically, they tell you that AI is going to eventually control how you perceive reality, and that humans, by depending on AI for everything and technology for everything, by being dragged there, by being told how convenient everything is, that humans will lose the ability to perceive reality without AI.
and won't be able to even understand what's happening to them. AI will act upon them. And that there will be two classes, the people AI acts upon and the people that maintain and program AI. What do you think the people like Sam Altman and Eric Schmidt and all of these guys, what class are they going to be in? What class are you going to be in?
I mean, it's their language already implies
who's going to get bombed by the AI.
Exactly.
You know.
Well, so back to the point is that what you just described was what we discussed before. Is that okay? So is that going to be actually a sentient AI making choices we have to listen to, or the illusion of that, where they actually are the ones pulling the strings? But even before that, though, back to the point about the gospel part of it, or the system. Is right now they're already creating this kind of lack of like you said, the Wizard of Oz kind of a thing, where that you're going to begin to see this, and I promise you it's going to roll out well past the Gaza situation, where these choices will be made, and it'll give them another level of lack of accountability. Right?
Ukraine and Gaza are the start of what's to come, and people should really be paying attention.
It is.
It's even worse than that. Think about it. The 4IR stuff, the fourth industrial revolution, the move to electric vehicles. Even if you mine all of the cobalt, lithium, nickel in the world, you're only going to make enough electric vehicles for what, like 1 billion people? How many people are on the planet? It's close to 9 billion, isn't it? Why do all these elites feel like there have to be way less people on the planet? Who do you think they're going to put in charge of deciding who gets to stay on the planet? It's going to be AI. AI is going to decide how to cull the herd, guys. And that's what this stuff is. The gospel they're testing in Gaza is. That's what it is. 100%. Do you comply? Do you believe the narratives? Are you a good sheep?
Yeah, fuck AI, dude. I mean, it's so fucking smart. I'm sure it is, dude. It's gonna be sentient. Yeah, I'm sure, dude. I'm sure. Yeah, we should keep this full force, nonstop, advancing evolution of this technology that leads people into wanting to kill themselves, into wanting to kill themselves, and shit that's always wrong, and they will give you false information, shit that seems to be working against us, or working against the people that don't create it, kind of working to instead of being an aid and a tool to evolve humanity. AI seems to be more of a technology that's used as a tool by the elite to better arm and better, I guess, secure the inevitability of the surveillance state. I mean, if you're talking to AI more than you're talking to, like, in using AI and talking to it more than you talk to normal people and have discussions with normal people, and interacting with AI more than you interact with real people, I mean, that's just that's going to end in disaster if more people end up doing that, especially when it comes to like dating and relationships and offspring for the future. And I don't know, it just on gathering data on how you think, what you do, how you're feeling. Like, these are supposed to be human interactions, but people are being told that it's like the best technology and it's going to be revolutionary. It's going to shape how we interact with the world, and it's going to shape the direction of humanity. Yeah, it is, but not for the reason most people are fucking aware of. I guess let's watch this. I guess let's watch this. This Nick Fuentes. Let's see if there's anything. Is there anything? All right, that's just what's this? Dr. Stephen Greer just alleged that extraterrestrials are not angels and demons, but they are real. Ah, yes, the magical. Okay, so I don't deny angels exist or demons. That is not the same as transdimensional interstellar spacecraft with extraterrestrial biological entities on it. I was at the Vatican with Pope John Paul's senior theologian, Monsignor Balducci. He was actually a demonologist. He said neither angels nor demons require flying saucers, and he knew about lower dimensions, higher dimensions, celestial. But what I think the intelligence community does is deliberately obfuscate this issue so that people with a religious perspective, which is fine, like Tucker Carlson or JD Vance or Luna, utilize their religious paradigm to confuse them on the nature of what's going on with UFOs. The problem is that that's a little bit of shorthand for they're from another dimension. They're not human, and from certain religious perspectives, it means they're demonic, and therefore we need to have a holy war. This is the essence of demagoguery. Okay. G.G. Young replies to that. Ah, yes, the magical spaceships that can take a human being anywhere in time and space. You can just hop in the miraculous technology and dematerialize and go anywhere you want. Total control of matter with technology. No need to master the old-fashioned way through spiritual initiation. Here's a shortcut. Bite the apple. You can be like gods. This is an early narrative that leads to transhumanism, as eventually they reveal that it is possible only if you merge with the ship. Their evidence for this magical technology is a bunch of abstract equations that don't factor in human spiritual realities and sleight of hand. All right. Stop sharing. All right. What time is it? 1:25. All right. So we'll watch a couple highlights, and then I'm gonna end the stream. All right, let's go with. All right, so we'll go to 40. All right, so we're gonna hear him talk about some Gen Z dating bullshit. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. He's probably gonna bring up porn and how it's gonna take over women. I don't. If you're a straight male, masculine male that is choosing porn over real pussy, you're probably gay. All right.
Joey?
Come on. God damn.
Meaninglessness. I think people use pornography for really the same reason.
Of course, I was
Doom
right.
scrolling and the use of internet pornography are kind of the same too. It's the same kind of dopamine hit, the same kind of roulette feeling that you get flipping through TikTok or that you get looking through pornography. Sort of the same thing. I think a lot of people use pornography maybe because they're bored. I think the same is also true of all drugs, whether it's fentanyl or even marijuana. It's the same thing. Everybody is chasing. Everybody feels a sort of hollowness, lack of something. As far as what is the most dangerous, I mean, of course, fentanyl is the most deadly. I would say that the most poisonous, however, would be OnlyFans. Because what OnlyFans does,
Which is owned by Jewish rabbi, I'm pretty sure, just like Pornhub is, and also OnlyFans, I'm pretty sure, is the largest donor to APAC, if I'm correct there. Sketchy. All these girls, flicking their clits on camera, showing their asshole on camera. Dudes doing weird shit on camera, making money on OnlyFans, but also giving part or what's owed to OnlyFans as a business from what they make. Are all these fucking retard lefties that got Ukraine flags in their bio, got are so anti-Israel, are free Palestine individuals, a lot of them flicking their bean and getting fucked in the ass on OnlyFans for everyone to see. They're giving money to an organization doing this on a platform that is the largest donor to APAC, an organization, a lobby essentially that they all swear to hate and are like sworn against. They're all fucking retards, and given that they do that as a profession, should only be should only make it more obvious of how fucked up and retarded these uh, radicals and people, leftist, left-leaning individuals have become.
To the men that use it and the women that are involved in it, that are creating it, is it takes away their innocence, their soul. And if the solution to many of these problems of modernity is to rediscover each other, relationships with each other, a meaningful relationship with a wife, a husband, a meaningful relationship with God, OnlyFans is really the only thing that might permanently sever that relationship by debasing and degrading and humiliating people, because that's really what that is. And maybe taking away what makes love and sex special between human beings, what connects, how that connects us to each other. So I think that maybe OnlyFans is the most insidious because it's the most damaging to the soul in a way that TikTok and fentanyl are not.
What's the biggest moral challenge facing young men today?
I would say when you look at the young men, it's such a sad state of affairs because there truly is just a general amorality, meaning that people don't look at the world through a moral lens. If they have one, it's some vague idea that the only sin is to hurt another person in like a direct way. So there's this idea, as long as you aren't hurting anybody, it's fine. And so people will act like complete hedonists and degenerates with drugs, with sex. They steal. They don't have any kind of sense of obligation or responsibility. And I guess maybe that's the biggest moral failing by itself. There's that famous line: the greatest trick the devil ever pulled is convincing the world he doesn't exist. And it's this idea that there is no evil. There is no such thing as right and wrong. And I think maybe that's the prime
The atheistic, retarded, mentally ill ideology, essentially.
problem. Because if you think that, if you go through life thinking that as long as I'm not hurting anybody else, I can smoke weed all day and I could be kind of a burnout and I could go and hook up with no consequences and be a degenerate. Well, then people are going to feel complete license to do that, whatever the variety of that sin is going to be. So I think that people need to, in particular young men, they need to start to listen to their conscience and really be guided by, I think, what we all know is right and wrong. When we do these various things, we don't feel good about it, actually. I don't think anybody smokes a bunch of weed and lives that lifestyle and really feels good about it deep down, or a very sexually promiscuous lifestyle. I don't think anyone really feels good about that. So I think that the young men have to start to listen to. So they're looking into political ideologies, Gnosticism, witchcraft, paganism. They're looking into their tribal gods. Many of the white nationalists are really getting into like Apollo and Zeus. And on the other side, on the left, they're getting into witchcraft. And I think it needs to be basically eradicated from society. I think it's very evil.
Do you think numerology is real as well?
I do.
Really?
I do.
It's something I've looked into. It's really fascinating. It feels like one of the people's thing with astrology and numerology manifestation is that it's also general, like it's not actually real. But like when I look into it, I don't know. I see some very specific similarities that make it feel real. And I'm Christian as well, so I know that I won't ask you this, but just my personal belief is like I do think that there's something there that if you do it in a way that it's aligned with God, it's probably okay, but do you not see it as aligned with God in general?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Jesus didn't do it, so it's like...
Exactly, right.
Do you think women should have fewer rights than men?
Generally speaking, yes. And I don't really love the rights. Rights is a very modern concept, and I think it's ideological. So I believe in human rights. I think everybody should have human rights, which is to say we should be able to speak our minds. We should have the freedom of conscience. We have rights to not be abused by the government. We have a right to a trial, a hearing with the jury of our peers. It's like, to me, these are all fine and well, but typically people are starting to conflate that with the privileges of influence in a democratic society. So voting rights is the big one. We have a right to vote. Now, this is treated like an absolute, but why? Does it really make sense that everyone has an absolute right to vote? Do children? Does a 5-year-old have a right to vote? You say, well, obviously not. Well, why? Because a 5-year-old doesn't know enough? Because they're not rational? Because they're not developed? Oh, okay, so it's not completely absolute. We have to draw some lines. What about somebody that has mental problems? That person, should like a schizophrenic person have a vote? Probably not. Maybe not. I would go further than that. When you look at the founders and the framers of the Constitution, there was only one office that was directly elected by anybody, and that was the House of Representatives. The president was chosen by electors, and the electors actually made the decision. It wasn't a vote. The Senate was chosen by the state legislatures. So out of all the federal government, the Supreme Court, the president, the Senate, only the House was actually elected by voters. And who voted? Well, it was landowning, propertied white men. Now, I don't know that I would go back to that, but the idea of it is that we don't want to actually have mob rule. We don't want to live in a society where it is just subjected to the passions of all the people put together. Because if that happens, society might change too rapidly. Society might be given to the mood of the moment and do something rash that might undermine the foundations of society. And so when you look at something like voting rights, I don't actually think it's a good idea, let's say, for a husband and wife to be voting against each other in an election. I think that kind of gets away from the society we want to have. Generally speaking, though, I do think that women should have rights in general.
Yeah, the word rights is very weird because it's, from a Christian perspective, it's like, oh, you have the right to have an abortion, and Christians see that as murder. So it's like you have the right to murder. I don't know. It's like not all rights are good for you necessarily. And there's also the whole thing about, I think you had to serve in the military. Originally, that was like the original reason for a vote. Maybe not in America, but in other countries. Is that the case?
Yeah. So, well, because, and a lot of it, there's like a deep conversation about that, but the idea is if you're going to be conscripted to fight in a regular army, in a standing army, then you should have a say over what your government does. That's a big reason why they lowered the voting age to 18, because if you could be drafted, you should be able to vote. But we just now have this universal suffrage. I think is a horrible situation.
Nick, why do you think dating women is gay?
All right, yeah. I mean, I don't think he makes like a too absurd of a point there, to be honest. I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously women should have rights, but when it comes to like voting and like you give all these radical, institutionalized, educated, usually white women who are like on the like brink of mental illness and psychosis at all times of the day based on what they've told to believe and how to react to certain things, like what is said, what people do in ways that used to be viewed as psychotic. Is it really smart to give a lot of these people the right to vote when they don't? I'm not saying you have to have kids to vote. I'm just saying, like, maybe when you have kids, you understand like what it means to vote on the future. And also when you have kids, you understand that like things can be dangerous and put them at harm's way. And maybe the women that are, usually the ones that are at the No Kings protests don't have any kids, and they're okay with now letting in a bunch of unknown people into their country, a lot of them violent criminals that they think they're going to treat as kids, and it's going to just turn out terrible for everyone that lives in the country. So
that's what I think is gay. It is gay to date women. Here's what's gay about it. What's gay about it is that
he might be gay. I don't know. He might like it up his ass. Who knows?
When I think about relations between men and
I don't
women,
think he's wrong on a lot of shit, though.
Sex. All of my views about men and women come down to the biological imperative, which is that when a man and woman reach the age of sexual maturity, they want to have sex. According to Catholic sexual morality, the only way to have sex is within marriage. That's what makes it moral. Because to have sex is to have kids. Unless there's something wrong with you. To have sex is to have kids. Kids need a mother and a father that are going to stick together. So the way that you build a stable society is to say the mother and the father are going to have to be together before they have kids and have sex. They're going to have to be made one flesh. They're going to have to, that's their obligation to their children. That's your obligation to God. And so my view of sex and in the United States is people should be getting married younger. Because what they're doing now is they're going out and they're having a lot of hookups. They're having a lot of casual sex, which I don't think anybody's really, in the end, deeply satisfied with this arrangement. So people reach the age of sexual maturity. They want to have sex. They go out and have lots of sex. And they wait maybe 5, 10, 15 years. They wait until they're in their mid-20s, late 20s, 30s, before when the women are past their prime in looks, they wait for men to really have all their ducks in a row. Then finally, now we want to have kids. And what happens? Well, at that point, the women aren't particularly fertile. Maybe they're only going to have a couple of kids. And also at that point, maybe both of them have had a lot of sexual partners and they've become maybe bitter, cynical, set in their ways. They haven't grown together. It makes it less likely they'll stay together. This is a very dysfunctional situation. And so my prescription for men and women is get married a lot younger when they reach that biological age of maturity, and then they're supposed to have kids. Then when the men and women are young and energetic, that's when they're having a big family and they can take care of a big family because they have energy. And then they grow together. They mature and grow into adults together, and they're more likely to stay together. The reason that dating is gay is because it's sterile. There's something very sterile about dating. Men are using condoms. What's gayer than using a condom? You know, preventing your virile seed from impregnating a woman, not to sound graphic, but like that's very gay. It's gay for a woman to be on birth control and like denying the creation of life. It's gay for men and women to be not married, but texting each other all day and watching Disney movies and cuddling together and, you know, playing this sort of game throughout college and then into early adulthood. Will they or won't they? Am I going to get married? Maybe. Maybe we'll live together. I think the whole thing is just deeply unserious and just very kind of juvenile and immature. And I think that it kind of reflects like a arrested development. It's like a stunted growth and maturity. So I think, you know, I'm not saying that getting married to a woman's gay. I'm saying that all of this nonsense that surrounds modern dating culture is extremely sterile and unserious and very feminine and very gay.
Nick, do you think?
And so, yeah, I mean, I don't think he's wrong on anything he said there. And if you go listen to my episodes on the podcast, this is the first live stream I've done, but you go to my podcast and go through previous episodes, and I've had these same opinions on a lot of the same shit. And I mean, I never called it gay, but I guess I see what he's saying. I don't think he's wrong. We're the same age, so I mean, maybe that's why we kind of agree on what's going on. But yeah, I don't think I think it's weird that people like having sex and prefer to use like a condom, or prefer that the girl both herself prefer her to be on birth control, and the guy fucking her prefers to be on birth control. I've always said that it's weird as a man that you would prefer a girl to be on birth control when the whole act of sex is to create offspring. I think that when a guy fucks a girl on birth control and prefers it, I think it kind of is gay and like feminine, because if you prefer for your seed to be killed immediately, I compared it to like Israel and Gaza. It's like, yeah, the birth control is Israel and your seed is Gaza trying to go across or try to reclaim land. I don't know. But if you prefer that your seed be killed immediately once you have, kind of shot the seed into the woman, that is kind of gay. And that's like, I don't know, I feel like it inevitably lowers your that your heirs, your offspring, what a man really wants in life, a family, especially heirs, gets killed immediately. And guys prefer that. That must mean it's a fucking, a faggot that's doing it, or a feminine man. And yeah, it's weird to just fuck a bunch of people that you wake up next to, know nothing about, but maybe their name, and that's how you that's your sexual habits. That just is disaster for long-term relationships in the future, and like your ability to grow and be satisfied with one person in the long term. Just hooking up all the time early on in life and fucking a bunch of people, thinking it's like the dope thing to do. Women think it's like the boss bitch thing to do. It just ruins your ability to uh like pair bond long term with one person later on in life. When you've had a bunch of dicks inside you, or if you've been inside a bunch of pussies, it's going to be harder in the future to settle down and be satisfied with one individual long term. And then yeah, I don't know, I've had those views, so I kind of agree with him, honestly, when it comes to that. And it's like, yeah, get married then. Why do you date for 10 years and no one's married? Or you date for 5 years and no one's married, and then you end up breaking up because you never got married or never got pregnant or got someone pregnant in the relationship. It makes no sense. It's just you guys have been in that dating phase for 7 years, no kid, no marriage. It's just like a weird thing. And then I think it inevitably either leads to just like bitterness if they stay together long term, or it leads to like just a, you know to the relationship being destroyed because there's nothing novel about it. There's no marriage, there's no kids, there's nothing new. It's just, instead of having kids, like I said earlier, they just remain in the kid like lifestyle that they've been living. And so yeah, I mean, I agree with him. So, all right, that's gonna be it for this live stream. The first one, I don't know, it went all right. Hopefully, we'll keep doing this. Maybe once a week. We'll see. All right, peace.